Hi there! Welcome to our 5-minute dive series of Proteins Unfolded, the podcast where we explore the extraordinary world of proteins and how they shape life as we know it. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Emilio.
And we are researchers at the Human Protein Atlas. In today's 5-minute dive, we are answering the question, what is the proteome? Let's start small. You've probably heard of proteins in the context of food, like meat, chicken, fish, or beans. But in molecular biology, proteins are much more than a dietary staple. Proteins are the molecules that do the heavy lifting in our cells. Simply put, they are builders and scaffolds, postal service and message receivers, defenders and attackers, and so much more. Everything your body does, from moving a muscle, fighting off a virus, to simply breathing, depends on proteins.
And just like your body isn't made of a single type of cell, it's also not working with just one type of protein. In fact, each cell can produce thousands of different proteins. Now, where do these proteins come from? Simply put, from our DNA. Think of the DNA as a recipe, containing the instructions or genes for making proteins. The current estimate is that humans have over 20,000 different protein coding genes, and any given protein can have not one, but a number of different versions, also known as isoforms, each tailored for a specific job. So yeah, think big. What is more, part of the reason we are such sophisticated machines is that not all DNA recipes are in use at once. Depending on factors like your age, diet, time of the day, or environment, your body selects specific recipes to make the proteins it needs at any given moment.
This brings us to the proteome. The proteome is a complete set of proteins being made in your body or in a specific part of your body at a given time. Unlike your genome, which is a complete set of genes and which experiences little change throughout your life, your proteome changes constantly. It is being tailored to what you need. Because of this, it can work as a window into your current physiological state. Think not only in terms of health and sickness, but also stress levels, menstrual cycle and pregnancy, or even emotions. And here, proteomics comes in. Proteomics is the science of studying the proteome, and it has revolutionized how we think about diseases, from cancer to COVID-19. We asked Fredrik Edfors, a principal investigator at the Human Protein Atlas, what the appeal of using the proteome was. Here is what he had to say about it.
So if you think about the genome as a map, the proteome is actually the road that we're currently on. And the genome can show us all the possible paths that we could take, but it will actually don't tell us which one that we're currently on. So the proteome, that will show us what's happening right now and where that road might actually lead us. So, in other words, the proteome is actually telling us something that's ongoing right now, but also where we could end up in the future. So that's why it's so important to study the proteome. And we, within the Human Protein Atlas, are working on mapping all the proteins in the human body, not just in cells and tissues and organs, but also now across many different diseases. So, for example, small blood samples can now act as snapshots of a person's health. And by studying the proteins, knowing where they are located in the body, we can find novel biomarkers that can give us clues and help us diagnose diseases earlier and develop better treatments. So if you take cancer as an example, biomarkers for cancer can tell us if someone has the disease, how aggressive it is, or whether it's responding to treatments or not. And the proteome can give us kind of a health report in real time, something that genomes cannot do. So in the future, we might actually use simple blood tests to find diseases very early on, predict how they progress, and personalize treatments based on that. So that's really the true power of the proteome.
In other words, we care about the proteome because it's the living story of our health. Understanding it gives us a window into what's happening inside of us, and it helps scientists and clinicians understand our internal mechanisms and work towards new medical breakthroughs. Obviously, there is a wealth of information on this topic. If you'd like to know about the types of proteins already mapped to different diseases, you should look into the Human Protein Atlas website. Thank you for tuning in to Proteins Unfolded. If you enjoyed this episode or have a question for a future one, send us a message or visit our website. And don't forget to share this with someone who loves a good science story.
See you next time!